back to Problem Business today, and today we're taking a look at agriculture as a weapon of poverty alleviation in Nigeria. And also, I have with me in the studio that do justice to it. I have a food and agri expert, Mr. Toby Olayemi. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much, sir.
Let's take a look at the statistics I actually read out from my intro. Before now, what we used to do to have is that agriculture takes a major play when it comes to economic development.
Yes.
But now, it looks to me that has taken a backseat.
Yeah.
What do you think is responsible for this?
Well, mainly looking at the inception, you agree with me that before the discovery of oil in Nigeria, so Nigeria has been a blessed nation whereby we have, vast land that can be used for agriculture. And this land is so arable to the extent that most of our crops being planted, we usually realize yield harvest, bountiful harvest. And over the years, we know that this agriculture has been a major sustainability for us before the discovery of oil around 1976, precisely in Oloibiri community in Bayelsa State. So before then, we could talk about, the pyramid of the north. We can talk about, the cocoa house in Ibadan, which is in southwest Nigeria. And all these things are being built solely from the money being generated from agriculture. And even though over time, our parents afford to send us to schools, they afford to train us, to bring food on our table, to do a lot of things to ensure proper nurturing of a child, all through agriculture. But the question now is that, has agriculture been relegated because of the discovery of oil? And now, before we can begin to talk about any other thing, because we have three things are essential to life.
Okay.
We talk about food, water, and shelter. So, and food, before you can do anything, we have to talk about food, because food gives you energy to do whatsoever you want to do. For me to have the opportunities sitting here communicating with you is as a result of internal energy I have, and that comes from food. And that is to tell you that food is essential, and which is primarily attached to agriculture, because we have to plant, harvest, and process, which becomes food that we consume today. But since we've discovered oil, we have shifted away from agriculture to oil because of the quick money that is there. But now, the reality is that our oil is declining in the world markets. It's not as juicy as before. Because of what? Because there are so many countries, supplying oil today. And as now, there's reduction in what we are selling, and that is why we're having a challenge in terms of economic policy. And now, except we go back to the foundation. And what has been the foundation? The foundation is that going back to agri, where have we gotten it right from onset? Where have we mixed debating? So we have to look at this thing from the foundation and be able to bring in holistic approach so that we can begin to use agri as a weapon to alleviate poverty. Because it's obvious that poverty is ravaging in Nigeria today, or because of the economy is in downturn, or because of the economy is not moving as before. Don't forget, our population is increasing day by day, and the resources we have is not enough to cater for the numbers of people that are living within the context of Nigeria today. And therefore, what else do we need to do? Then there is need for diversification. We need to shift only from getting our major revenue from oil, and also be able to improve the agricultural sector.
I agree with you, because so much has also been said about this diversification of the thing, and they're also trying to look at agriculture as a way to actually get more foreign elements. So let's take a look at it. Everybody is also looking at government, and government is also coming to do this. What about the individuals? Why are we not doing it? Is it because they have seen agriculture as a sort of hard labor, not a great business. But when you look at the facts from America, we understand that 5% of Americans are the one feeding all the Americans, and these are farmers. So why is it that it's so difficult for people to go into agriculture?
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Because over the years, we've been working with some selected people. We call them smallholder women farmers of Nigeria. Because these smallholder women farmers, they cut across the 36 states of the Federation with the inclusion of FCT. And now, these people, they are increasing every day. I'm a youth, and we have youth now that are going majorly into tomato farming. But the major bottleneck that has been affecting more people to invest, to come into agriculture, is because there is little support coming from those who are holding our resources. And when we are talking about this, we are talking about policy makers. We are talking about the influencers. We are talking about relevant stakeholders who are in charge of agricultural development, right from the local, state, and the national level. Now, I give you these statistics, sir. As of last year, when the Minister for State for Agriculture was discussing, having a town hall meeting, he said categorically that annually we lost 3.5 million naira, trillion naira to post-harvest losses. And these post-harvest losses, we have to look at the factors that are contributing to it. One, we need to talk about the issue of security. As of last week, we had a program in Owo. People from Osrc local government, they couldn't make it to that program because that program we held was as a result of training our smallholder women farmers on agroecology system of farming. But now, we have to take it to the North Central District, whereby we chose Owo as the point, as the location whereby, all the farmers from the North Central District, we gather for the training. But we have issue with people coming from Osrc, and when we did a follow-up, what they told us is that security, that the Fulani people are ravaging them on a big time. And this is affecting their movement. That even though for them to go to the farm is a big issue. And categorically, even though if I happen to be a person who has come from Osrc, I happen to be a farmer, or I have interest in going to farming, because of this issue of security now, this has, discouraged me from going there. That's one. Another thing is that you will see that Easter today that we are celebrating, supplying fruits of different kinds. What have they done? Then we need to take a learning lesson from them, whereby they've invested heavily in agriculture. The use of, friendly technology, modern days technology machine that they can use for cultivation, they can use for harvesting, and they can use for different processing.
So why is it that it's so difficult for us in Nigeria to invest in this technology that you talked about? Because I also see the Chinese, I also see the Indians also trying to work around technology to develop their agriculture.
Thank you, sir. So, particularly, you want to make me to talk this way. Over the years, I think in 2013 to be precise, 2003 to be precise, there's what we call Maputo Declaration. This Maputo Declaration is a convergence of, African Union leaders, whereby we have at first it was 52 countries within the African continent that, have to accept that Maputo Declaration. The Maputo Declaration says that out of your overall budget, at least 10% should be allocated to agriculture sector. But the reality on ground is that since the establishment of that, policy that has emanated from African Union, of which Nigeria happens to be one of the countries that consented to that, and has been and vowed to domesticate it both at national and state level. Over the years, we are still battling with meeting up with this 10% Maputo declaration.
So what has been the percentage of a budget for agriculture?
Now, presently for the state, we have 6.68% in Ondo State. And though we commend the government over this, because over the years, we've been having less than this. But for this year, we have over 6%, which means like Oliver Twist will keep on asking for more. But now, we are talking that if there's increased allocation to agriculture, then the modern day technology we are talking about that can assist the farmer, to enhance their production, to enhance their cultivation, to enhance the level of their harvest, you will see that these machines will be available. We are not even saying that the government should give it to them on a pro bono or free of charge. But what the government can do is to subsidize, because our farmers, they are in clusters. Because now we've come to discover that it is even impossible for government to give a listening attention to farmers, because over the years, there are so many people that come in the name of being farmers, and at the long run, they are not a farmer. And that's why government prefer that farmers being in cluster, so that when they are in cooperative or in cluster, so when they come as a group, okay, this is what we need.
I ask you this question because I also know for a fact that we have a lot of people, eminent Nigerians are also into farming.
Yes.
Their farms are so big that one will also feel that it should be enough to feed, if not the entire country, but it should be enough to feed the people around them. But yet they are not getting that result. Does it mean that the product from these farms are also being exported?
That's one. And of which, when we have our goods, when we have our farm produce being supplied to other countries, it will generate more income to the country. But I give you this clue, sir. In 2008, when there was recession in Germany, we were able to see that for Germany to come out of that recession, small-scale businesses were those ones that rescue Germany out of recession, which means that there's no how there can be development when the small, older women farmers and youths in per se are not considered. Do you know why, sir?
I would say youth are also interested in going to farming.
Yes. Yes. Do you know why, sir? 70% of the food we consume in Nigeria today are being produced by these people. So that means that if 70% of our food are being produced by these people, then government needs to give them more concentration, more attention, because they are poor farmers. They need the intervention of farmers, of government. When government comes in, that means that those who are producing on a large scale, the smallholder women farmers are producing, there is enhancement in productivity, then this can complement with each other. If at all we are exporting, then we can also consider people within Nigeria, which will protect us against food insecurity.
You talk so much about support. What kind of support will you be advocating for?
Thank you, sir. And the kind of support we'll be advocating for, one, is that, I talked about the issue of post-harvest losses. Most times, farmers, especially those who are in hard-to-reach communities, most of them are ignorant about their planting process. And that is why they need training. So one of the first things I'll be, appealing to the government to consider doing for these farmers who are the hard-to-reach community is that they need to engage them in training. And this can be done by extension agents. But over the years, we've been having shortfalls in the numbers of extension agents we have, both at the state and national level. And this is affecting a lot of, farming activities. For instance, we have climate change. And now, farmers are not being equipped with the knowledge of climate change. They believe that, when there is rain around this March period, I need to rush down to the farm to plant. And whereas, the way they are forecasting it, things are not going that way because there's a change in activity of weather. And the extension agents The agrochromatological department in the Ministry of Agriculture, they have the technical know-how of doing this. They are the ones that can assist the farmer to train them that you need to do this, you need to do that. And over the years, we've seen that during the Agagu regime, there has always been a weather forecast, which has been supportive to the farmers at the rural communities. So that's one, training. And number two is that I would like to talk about, these are processing facilities. When there is enough processing facility, it will assist the farmer to have reduction in post-harvest losses. Because now there is a program that that the government and the World Bank are doing together, and it's under the Ministry of Agriculture. So it's specifically on rural accessibility. This rural accessibility is that it will be able to create markets and routes, grading of rural routes. And if we have routes that it will be so much easy for transporter to go to the community to assist the farmer bringing out their produce to the market, you will see that we'll begin to realize what we call post-harvest losses reduction. But over the time, there's not, because we don't have good roads, the road to the communities are so bad to the extent that when transporter want to charge, they will overcharge the farmers. And what they are realizing is not in tally with what they are spending.
Mr. Lion, you agree with me that these have been the challenges that is also confronting agriculture or agro-business in Nigeria for a long time?
Yes, sir.
I don't think that we should also devise means of also getting to solve this problem, even when we say how these challenges. What about how to preserve our products? What about having food all year round in terms of also providing irrigation? Why are we not looking at all of this to actually ensure that we also solve these challenges?
Thank you so much, sir. It's part of the challenges. And that's why one of our campaigns over the years now is that there should be dry season farming. Dry season farming will allow farmers to work all year round. They don't have to wait for 6 months before they could get their money. But if possible, on a daily basis, a farmer is making his money or her money. But the issue is that even though the water we have, and that's why I talk vehemently on training, because in Israel, do you know that people pay for water? But we can tell people how to conserve water, especially during rainy season. Because now you will see that the rainy season is going to an end gradually, and of which the farmers will begin to look for where to sustain their crops. And now, but if farmers are being trained that, during rainy season, you have to have a kind of reservoir. You have to have a kind of a container whereby you can accommodate large chunk of water, so that by the time the dry season comes, there are ways of trying to irrigate your farmland, so that this also will make our planting system to be all year round and also reduce food insecurity. Because now, look at the plantain we are getting today. When you compare the plantain we are getting today with that of maybe 2 or 3 years, you will see that there is difference, big difference.
What is the difference?
The difference is that those plantain they are harvesting now, you see that it's not as good as that of before. Because of what? Because of dry season, no water conservation, and all these things are contributing. And those ones that we are getting it from the reserve. And those ones are being exported also outside the states. Are you getting it, sir? So, and also it's a challenge. And that's why over the years we've been telling our farmers, even though the recent training we conducted in Owo is part of our agenda, whereby we train our farmer on that they can't just afford to be wasting water. Even though this Owena Dam, we are even appealing to the government that the Owena Dam can be channeled, can be treated even though for water consumption, so that when it is treated, people can drink it, and also people can use it for their dry season farming. And these are ways of conserving water, of which it will reduce the level of food insecurity threatening that we are getting day by day.
When you take a look at the statistics from the National Bureau of Statistics, they said 133 million people are multidimensionally poor. And also, you also agree with me that we also have arable land in
Yes,
Nigeria.
80% of our land.
So ordinarily, we shouldn't have this figure that are also poor.
That's it. And that's why, we say that if agriculture is practiced accordingly, you see that, one, it will attract more
I
people.
also think there's also the need for us to also encourage individuals to also have maybe small farm at their backyard for them to have something to eat.
Yes, that's good. It's a good one, sir. But beyond that, sir, you can also, because now the reality on ground is that there's inflation. And now you will see that those who are working today, maybe the salary I've been earning for the past 10 years is still the same thing today. You see that it takes care of all my bills.
Purchasing power.
Do you understand? The purchasing power is increasing day by day. And the major challenge is that, maybe I don't know whether there is no regulatory body to control price range. You just, the amount you get something today, when you get there tomorrow, you see that it has changed. And by and large, what am I trying to say is that even though people are looking for other means of sustainability, and one of it is that going to the farm, you understand? But now the question is that, is there availability of land for people to even practice subsistence farming? Is there availability of land? So we need to talk about that. And that's why it's also one of our campaigns that government should support us in allocating land for people that show interest. And that's why it's possible that government is doing this, but information is power. So that at least if there are opportunity for people to have access to land for some years, then government should publicize it so that people can be aware. If government is making this publicity and people are not coming, then we know that government has played its own part. Then it's now left over to the people. And that's why day by day, when we are telling people, go into farming, are there resources for them to go into farming? With test of time, are they not going to pull out? When there are no things, when there are no resources.
Because of our time, what will not be your recommendations as regards how we can use agriculture as a weapon to fight poverty?
Now, I'll start from the individual. That the reality on ground now is that there's inflation, there's hardship in the country. And as a person, it is my advice, candid advice, that we should not focus on one earnings, but we can make our earnings to be multifaceted in the sense that, and one of the ways is that going into agriculture, especially going into processing part of it, because we've been talking about value chain. Where the money is the value chain. So, and that is why we need to get it right as an individual, your contribution. And that's why I usually tell people, you don't need to consider the money first. You consider the impact you are bringing to the table. So what is the impact? What is the contribution am I making towards the development of agriculture in the state? When you have that, that will be a means of sustainability to you. And as time goes on, by the time you get it right, the money will come, the money will flow. The money will come in, and that is why I'm recommending generally that people also should focus more on agriculture. So far, we have 80% of our land arable, and also government should make policies that will be friendly for people to come into agriculture.
The last 75 minutes, thereabout, I've been speaking with Mr. Tobi Olayemi, a food and agri expert, and together we're taking a look at agriculture as a weapon of poverty alleviation. I want to thank you so much for sharing your thought with us on the show today.
It's a pleasure,
It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you so
Next
much.
time is going to be on the show today. Join us on Wednesday for another one. Kunle Ario is my name. Good morning.